Hey YouTube, so what we're going to be talking about in this video is a question that actually you have contacted us a lot about, and that is puppy biting. How to stop it from being a conflict, how to stop it from being that daily frustration, how to stop it from becoming a struggle in the first place.
Now there she is, gently licking my finger, being sweetness and light. You know what? That is how it all starts. 8 weeks old, super nice, super cute, absolutely adorable, absolutely easy peasy, right?
Maybe not. And so what tends to happen is that puppy hits a certain age and they start to explore the world with their mouths. They don't look at it, they put it in their mouth, they maybe pull it, they maybe tug it, they maybe just swallow it, right? And the key is that often this exploration of the world can be directed onto us, onto our hands, onto our clothes. And what we might then do is up the animation. We might then, scream and take our hand away. We might try and run away as the puppy is tugging on our jeans and increasing that animation, increasing that energy. We've just rewarded that interaction.
Now the thing is, absolutely, we understand why you might accidentally reward that interaction. We need you to be intentional with your puppy and be prepared. Remember, those that prepare are going to win. Basically, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Yeah. And yet we know there are things you can do to get ready for this, especially if you have if you have children around the house. If you have any youngsters around. I was teaching someone only this week who had a little person and they were squealing and running, which certainly fuels the fire. Yeah. So we've got strategies for you and you're going to be prepared.
So with that, effectively there are two things that you need to implement to stop puppy mouthing, puppy biting. The first is that actually we need to not give it an outcome that ups the energy, ups the arousal, ups the excitement. And so instead, what we're probably going to do is if our puppy mouths at us or if our puppy grabs at our clothes in a very kind of non-event way, we're probably just going to maybe take a hold of their little collar if they've got a collar, or maybe just calmly pick them up and just stroke them. What they practice, they will do more of. What they practice today, they will do more of tomorrow. If we calmly interrupt something, actively they're not going to do it more in the future. Now, the other thing that we then need to think about is what do we want them to do? Well, there are all kinds of ways that it would be cool for them to interact with us. For example, it would be great if maybe we taught them a middle where they come around our legs and stand between our legs. That's a great way to interact with us. It doesn't involve mouthing our hands or biting our clothes. It might be that we have particular objects that we like to interact with our puppies, that involve them directing their mouth onto it that is not our hands. Again, a great
and thing. Something that you can effectively and appropriately transfer and say, no, not that. I remember once Eliza wasn't very old at all and she tried to bite me, and Eliza is my daughter, not my dog. And I remember at that time even like teething rings and things to play with and things to explore with your mouth. You know what? It's no different in the sense that you're saying, this is appropriate play with me and that is not appropriate play with me. And like you see, at this age, you're seeing a really nice age, a really nice stage. Butter would not melt. And you absolutely know it's coming.
Fast forward a week, it will be here. And so what we've got to think about is what do we want them to do instead. Now, another thing that can be it sounds so simple, but it really works, is actually just doing a bit of hand feeding. Doing their daily food allowance and using it to train them and work with them. What they learn is that food comes from hands, not hands are food. And again, every time that puppy interacts with you in a way that is not biting, that is not mouthing, they're less likely to do that in the future. We've got to tip the balance. And if you're watching this video right now, the balance might have been tipped towards biting and mouthing. They've practiced it, they're doing it more and more. Maybe it's been inadvertently rewarded, therefore they're doing it even more, and so on. What we need to do is think, right, what can we do to stop our dogs from practicing it in the meantime? Okay, so maybe, I don't know, we don't release them into the garden when the kids are playing football and there's a lot of animation.
We don't maybe give them free access to the children without us supervising, and that should be a given anyway, and yet it really is something that you need to do at this stage.
Yeah, and then what we need to think about is, okay, how can we inspire different behaviour, get the whole family on board? If you've not already taken part in our Sexier Than a Squirrel challenge, all of the games in that will really help your puppy to learn different ways to interact with you that is not mouthing and biting.
Another thing that I would absolutely suggest, and I think this is something we often teach adult dogs, and at the same time, this is a perfect age and stage to do it, is disengagement. So actually, sometimes it does happen. They do start to engage inappropriately. Are you listening? And when they engage inappropriately, actually what they really need to know is how they get out of that situation and how they can disengage. And even at this age, they can learn disengagement, right, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. So every time you maybe interrupt your puppy from mouthing and biting you, and you calmly redirect them onto something else, that's an opportunity to then maybe reward them for as long as they don't go back to mouthing and biting. And so they're learning to actually disengage from an activity they were just doing. So how would that look? Well, first of all, our puppy might come up to us and mouth us and bite us. We might then just calmly take hold of their collar, calmly just stroke them, wait for them to calm down a little bit, maybe present them with a toy. When they start to interact with that toy and mouth that toy, we might count to 3 and check that they're doing it for 3 seconds, and then we might deliver some of their daily food allowance. So what we've taught them is to switch from an activity we don't want them to do to one that we do want them to do, and then we've rewarded that. So actively we're promoting disengagement, we're teaching them not to mouth and bite, and we're creating a pretty cool companion that learns that sometimes they don't get to do the things that they want, and yet there's a really cool second option.
Taking it all in. Got it all.
Great
Literally,
student. Good
no
student.
All up here.
This is very good.
All up
so,
here.
guys, this is a problem that we know that in the moment, in that firefighting state where, I don't know, the kids are screaming, you're screaming sometimes, you're getting really frustrated.
And maybe you're regretting even having a dog in the first place. Maybe you're thinking, what on earth was I thinking? Why did I do this? Why am I putting myself, my family, putting us all through this? You know what? Interrupt that pattern. Stop.
Yeah.
There's a game for that. We're onto it.
Yeah.
You know what? There's so many things you can do to turn it around.
Absolutely. And that was this episode of the Absolute Dogs TV. So with that, guys, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell us about your puppies below this video.
She's got it.
And we will see you in the next episode.
Remember, game changers, whatever the dog owning struggle, there's a game for that.
If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to our channel.
And check out our new 25-day online dog training challenge. Watch the videos, play the games, transform your dog owning struggles.
As a loyal YouTube subscriber, you can get a 70% discount through the link in the description below.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to the #1 most transformational dog training podcast on iTunes and Spotify, the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast.
And remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more live teaching, video content and free training using the links in the description.